That time with poor children deeply impacted him. The other piece of changing and shifting one's course of life, December 7, 1941, junior in high school, playing a football game on Maui, having flown back to Oahu, was given a machine gun and said to stay on these beaches outside of Oahu. Protect the beach from the Japanese who are going to be thought to invade because we're so vulnerable. Father said, you need to go and fight for your soil of your land. And his father said, don't come home if you bring shame to boy. Everybody knew everybody back then. The population was less than half that it is now. He was too young to get into the military here when he tried to enlist because he knew who he was. So I was told by his best friend from Oklahoma that he falsified his birth certificate and got to Washington State, and he enlisted in the Army. They thought he was Native American Indian, made him first scout. First scouts are first in front of the front lines. And he landed in Normandy, D-Day, European invasion. Watched. Many died right on that beach. He fought, on average, first scouts last about 2 minutes in battle, but he fought 400 miles across French soil or Hawaiian soil. And then in the wintertime, green fatigues, German sniper in a tree shot him in the head. The bullet went through right below his temple, took out his left eye, and came out his nose. He don't talk about that time, but his friend from Oklahoma will come over to the house and I was badgering him. And he said, yeah, your father. Man of great courage. They had piles of the wounded. One pile would be those who were less severely wounded, and there'd be one pile that's severely wounded, and they'd give limited medical supplies to the ones that had the best chance of surviving. So the Oklahoma man and another man I never knew put him in a cot, carried him out behind the lines. The other man stepped on a landmine, was killed. Shrapnel went in my dad's body, never removed, too close to internal organs. And 2 years. He crystallized that vision to two things. One was, you come home to your land, and you take care of poor kids. Kids that need it the most, that society basically serves the least. And, he set his course, his sail plan for service. Went to school in Maine, got his master's in social work, and worked tirelessly for the betterment of Native Hawaiians and all of Hawaii through education, the social welfare, through health. We'd spend here, you know what, just go on the web. Google him, Myron B. Thompson. See what he's done when he knew his course. So he comes and finds me, and we were the poor children, the ones that needed the help the most because we were broken. And he puts his hand on my left shoulder that night, looking at the stars without hope. Doesn't look in my eyes because he knows those eyes are full of shame, and just says, you know, me and Mom have been talking, and we know you need to go. So we'll be there. When you let go of the lines, I will be there when you arrive. And he said, but you don't know how to do this. You get your leadership in one room tomorrow. I want to meet with all of you. The cloudy time, a time that I don't remember, was in the biomedical building in the university sunroom. We all came in, we couldn't even talk to each other. My father, the reason why I say he's the most greatest navigator, in 45 minutes, the mentor shifts all of us. You want to go to Tahiti? My dad knew we had to go. The consequence of the failure of the canoe and its symbol and its monument was too powerful. But he knew we needed to succeed. Want to go to Tahiti? Know the power of vision. Be crystal clear of what your destination looks like and know the road to get there. But most importantly, on that road, know who you serve. The voyage not about you. And he said, you as leaders have got to break through and come together. You have to come up with a set of core values that you all believe in, that are core to the mission, and don't ever, ever compromise them like you did before. And he said, and you need to take that vision, and you need to take your set of values, and you need to talk to your people. He said, if your community is not with you, you'll do nothing. And he said, take your vision and values, and he believes they'll come, but he said, make sure that the community that you define as yours is not defined by the limitations of racial barriers or geographical barriers. You talk to people as they are human beings. And that they come because they want to learn, come they want to work, and come they want to give back. Build your community around those values. He said, you folks as leaders and you as community must unify. Then he said the hard part. You need to earn the journey. He said 95% of the success of the voyage will not be when you leave and go to the meeting. It'll be in the training. He said don't talk about a departure date. Talk about what it takes for you to do every single step. Map it out so you earn the voyage. And then he said, you articulate and write down all the steps. You give it to me, and I'll hold you to them. And then when your training's piled, when you've done everything that you can, when you're as prepared as you possibly can, you've got one question to answer that you need to answer: is the voyage worth the risk? And he says, if it is, and this was to me indirectly, he said, then you should go. That is the power of the love of the Father to let His Son go, knowing He may not come back, but that He has to go.